Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
Top of the morning to you and welcome to Newsline live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And joining me this morning is Bandula Jaisekar. Good morning, Bandula.
Good morning, Shaukat.
And how are you doing?
Fine.
You've re-entered my name. We're also delighted to welcome to our program this morning Shavindra Ferdinando.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. And how are you doing?
Fine.
Good.
For us, before we proceed, our Sirius FM celebrates 22nd anniversary and creates history with the 24-hour broadcasting, our sister on our sister channels.
Happy birthday to Sirius FM.
Yeah. Where's the cake?
Where's the cake? Diabetic, low-calorie cakes would do. Seriously. Happy birthday. And Shavindra, have you been following, how good have you been, your newspaper, The Island? Have you been following the Prime Minister's orders? Have you been writing appropriate editorials? Have you been shaping public opinion the proper way, or the running way?
Like Kesara Bewali, have you worked in that framework?
I do not want to comment about the Daily Mirror. That's not my job.
No, that's true.
He was ordered.
But of course, we don't take orders from politicians.
No.
Of course, the Prime Minister has a right to say what he has to say.
Yeah.
And recently, a couple of days back, he blasted C.A. Chandra Prema, the Sand Island correspondent. He alleged that it was the former president who got Chandra Prema into the island. And because of that, the Prime Minister alleged that Chandra Prema is writing at the behest of Rajpaksas, which is not true. Which is not true. So, obviously, the government is under pressure over ICTA. So, the government is trying to suppress the media, definitely, because we see a lot of instructions, and almost every week in Parliament, the media is taken on. But we have not seen seriously been attacked recently, although the previous government attacked.
You are now repeating what Mahinda Rajapaksa said.
Yeah, certainly. Are you taking instructions from the Honourable Prime Minister?
You mean the dear Prime Minister?
Yeah, certainly.
I don't think so. Not this channel. All right? Not this channel. But yesterday we had a terse two-line letter delivered to Lasil de Silva, the Secretary of Presifac, the Presidential Commission Inquiry. Just 2 lines. Your services have been terminated with immediate effect. And it carried the signature of Mr. Abekul, the Secretary to the President. I spoke to Lasil as he was making his way home, and he said that he speculated that it could be that he was rather media friendly. I felt a bit bad because he's been on the program about 4 times. Do you think that one should lose their job for being media friendly?
I also spoke to Lasil, my good friend.
Yeah.
And I believe he was not telling the truth. Right? He was not sacked because he was friendly towards the media. Right. Certainly not. And I believe he must have done something to antagonize, to make some certain person or certain persons very angry. Maybe he does articles to media, print media. He must have written something to upset somebody. Otherwise, there is no reason for them to remove lesson.
Yes, because you can't blame the slowness of the Presifac investigatory process on Lasil, because he's merely the Secretary of the Commission.
Yeah, certainly not. Then they must ask the High Court judges who are handling the investigations.
Indeed.
And the police. He's only the Secretary. Actually, Lasil was keeping the media informed of what was happening there.
Yeah.
So I feel sorry for him.
That was important. At the beginning, I remember I misunderstood him, but it was very important. We have the right to know, and these investigations. So he was very media friendly, and we appreciated that.
Indeed, very much.
Maybe,
so.
maybe they alleged in the run-up to the elections about the former president and his family having 18 billion US dollars overseas.
Well, that's absolutely impossible, because I've got the figures here. Every year, the public spend during the Rajapaksa years was never more than 6%.
Yes.
And if we took 50 billion as the...
they said 18.
Yes, that's right. But if we took 50 billion as a sort of turnover for each year, well, 6% of 50 billion is 3. 9 years is 27 billion. So lesson in mathematics. So 9 times 3 is 27 billion. Mangala Samaravira, whom we shall talk about later, says that the Rajapaksas stole 18 billion. So from 27, if you minus 18, there was 9 billion left. But with 9 billion, Shavindra, there was a number of things done. There were roads. There was what they now say was a useless port. They now say that there was an airport, which they now say they tried it as a paddy storage, and now they say they're going to develop it into a hub. They build lots of other roads, and there's a small matter which they seem to have forgotten about: winning the war. So they did all this with 9 billion. I think we should have Rajapaksa back again, because give him 9 billion and say do all the things you did. So these claims are wild and unsubstantiated, and if commissions like Pressifact are supposed to investigate these wild claims, they'll never finish any case. As it is, and Bandula is fond of saying it, they've only brought one case to court. The Nigambo Lagoon.
The lagoon, that isn't enough. And also he said in here that the rice scam, the Satosa, where Johnson is involved, is bigger than the VAT scam. So that affected people, and we are told, Shamina, that 17 containers left the port. We don't know where it has gone. That affects the people. Like we talk of Gammad, it affects the ordinary people. What's happening to those?
See, Bandula, if you really see, it's all these allegations were part of the UNP-led campaign to oust the Rajapaksas. You must realize that. So this 18 billion US dollars, then this Nama Rajapaksa having helicopters and horses and various things. So it's a huge, number of allegations.
He certainly maintained a horse, a white one in Aurelia.
Number of people, I think, not only him. I think some people felt that they had to have elephants. So almost all the big shots maintained.
But my point, Shamindra, is this: if the Rajapaksas were known to be wealthy people, then not elephants, they can have a whole fleet of luxury cars and horses and thoroughbreds and all that, but they are not known to be substantially wealthy people. They are at best middle income, and what is the source of their income?
I'm sure you're fully aware. All the governments in power and their partners, they spend taxpayers' money.
Exactly.
The Rajapaksas did it. The PA did it first. Right? Then the UPFA. And now these people are doing it.
And also,
it's happening. You see, the one country where they even rob funds allocated to upgrade the parliament in 2002. Right? So Lasil Disilla was there at that time. That is how I got to know him. Right? Because I will tell you a story. Lal Kanta made certain allegations against the parliamentary administration. And the previous government, the UNP-led UNF administration, felt that it was Lasil Disilla who released the information to the media. Right? The former speaker, WJM Lokumara, got so angry, he got him out. He had to go to the Supreme Court after that. So That's the situation. So all these people, they use taxpayers' money.
That's right. But everybody talks shop, and in this case, the shop is political shop, and they make wild claims, this, that, and the other, and they waste valuable print space, airtime, but they're not getting to the heart of the problem. And this network, this company, this group has, as you know, gone to embarked on a program called Gammadda, from village to village. And the findings, we've been listening to the people. We've gone there and asked them, and we are getting back we're getting feedback. And what we have discovered is abject poverty. People living in tents for long periods of time, no access to water, no access to power, and what absolute
there's
rubbish.
No access to a cemetery.
There's no access to cemetery.
They don't have a place to rest
and
in
what
peace.
Absolute rubbish these politicians talk about when they say, oh, Sri Lanka is 96% got power and so on. It's absolute rubbish. It's complete tosh. They'll say, oh, the CB is profitable. Yeah, right, really? The CB engineers have got new vehicles and so on because Noricholi is producing. Well, it's stopped now. But the point is, there is abject poverty, and the politicians are blind to this. And I think, if I may say so, Shavindra, that is the things that the media ought to be highlighting.
And also, Shamindra,
not all this etka and all this
there
nonsense.
are mere, you were saying,
we need to get our house in order.
Shamindra, some of these things you were saying, they are mere allegations. But why was President Rajapaksa thrown out? Because he was thrown out for a reason. He lost. He lost for a reason. So you can't say mere allegations.
No. Two different things, Bandula.
Yeah.
The former president wanted to consolidate his power.
Yeah.
That's why he brought in the 18th Amendment, called for early elections, and he lost.
Yeah.
He's out. So there's no point in talking about trying to bring him back now, right? He's out. But the previous,
But don't you see, Shavindra, don't you see a real sort of irony here? This network is spending our money, our chairman's money, or our shareholders' money, and whilst we're doing that, during the soon after the tsunami, we had something called Helping Hambantota.
Yes.
Shamelessly, actually robbing the money that was due to help the people, the victims. Right? And here we're spending our money, going out and listening to the people.
Right.
And the politicians continue to be blind to that part. It's almost as though the politicians want these people who are suffering to continue with the suffering so that they can then come to Parliament, lord it around in air-conditioned comfort, in air-conditioned cars, in duty-free permits, everything paid for, so that they can carry on. There's no real attempt to eradicate this poverty. What are they doing?
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, it's okay. Now, Sajid Premadas, the housing minister, recently, I think last Saturday, he admitted that in the Kurunayagara district, Bandula's district, 62,000 families live in half-built houses. He said it openly. So, but are they doing anything about it? We have a lot of projects. All the governments have projects. But Sirasa, I think by doing this particular program, you are exposing politicians on both sides, and you are bringing tremendous pressure on them to do something. But again, I must tell you, the issues in the villages will be covered by other issues, or ICTA, or protests in Colombo.
No, but again, also Shamin, also all these big issues. One of the lawyers who took part in our program, Jayanag, he said why President Rajapaksa went to Kurunayagara. Not because he loved the people to gain more votes, because that's an electorate where you can get more votes. There are so many big wigs, but nothing has happened. And recently somebody said he opens offices in Battaramulla, but not in Kurunegala where he's supposed to serve the people. I'm sorry to say this.
Let's take a short commercial break and come right back. Stay tuned to Newsline. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Newsline, where we're joined today by the news editor of the Island newspaper, Mr. Shavindra Ferdinando. Shavindra, talking about housing, I want to tell you a little story. Many years ago, I was working in Kenya, in East Africa, and I was traveling between Mombasa and towards the Somali border to a town called Garsen. The roads were very, very basic, shall we say. It was just cut, earth cut, and it was tough going. Several hours, more than 9 hours just to go over 100 kilometers. And we stopped in this little place because I saw the Coca-Cola board there. And I foolishly asked for a cold drink. There's no power there. This is a board. Anyway, we got chatting, and the little kiosk, he asked my driver whether I was Indian, and he said no. He's from a place called Sri Lanka. Do you know where Sri Lanka is? The driver asked this guy, and he said, yeah, I do. Premadasa, he said to me. I said, whoa, all right. He went in and got an old Swahili newspaper, an old one. It was really yellowing with age, and he turned it, and there was an article about Premadasa winning some award for his housing program.
The World Habitat.
That's the one.
Yes.
And it was a photograph, and he said to me in his sort of 1 or 2 words of English and through the driver, he said, you lucky, you have Premadasa, you have home. Me no lucky. Me have Moi, and look at my home. It was a little wooden shack. I felt good that day because we had Premadasa. I'll just say this because so many people in our country don't have a home.
According to the housing minister, it's 1.5 million without home, no land. 1.5 million.
And there are 500 homes in Akarai Pattu that are not even occupied by dogs. $15 million Saudi Arabian project. It's there. There are people who were given 24 hours notice to get out of Manor by the LTT who are living in a camp in Puntland. And as our government, the program continues to reveal, there is abject poverty throughout the rural areas of this country. What do you think we ought to be doing with these politicians? Should we send them on?
We are replacing one set of bad people with another. So we have parliament, we have provincial councils, we have local government authorities. But as you said just now, nothing is happening on the ground. So when you talk about the displaced and people living in very poor conditions, people think of the people in the one.
Yeah.
But I think the situation is the same in Anuradhapura or Gampaha, maybe Kurunegala.
Yeah.
It's a huge issue. The huge issue this government is not tackling. This government is, and the opposition, now you take the opposition, the joint opposition is the opposition, because the opposition recognized in parliament is part of the government.
Yeah.
That is one. So the joint opposition guys are basically struggling to survive. They are facing a lot of cases, bribery allegations, various issues.
Yeah.
So they have no time to put pressure on this government on those issues. The government is busy handling Geneva, then various Jahapan issues, various other issues. So the ordinary people, I believe, they don't get the basic things. As Siddhasa has now, I also aware of this situation, but after seeing this program, I was also shocked. the condition of living, housing, no schools, the hospitals closed.
Basics, just basics.
Absolute basics. They haven't got it. There was one family who they were just having just one meal a day.
Which is tomato and rice.
Just rice and
tomato.
something else. And that something else was whatever they could gather. That's all they could afford. And then these doctors and others are asking for concessionary duty permits. It's laughable. Sorry, but it's laughable.
Yeah, the doctors, of course, have gone to the Supreme Court demanding their right for that facility.
And after having free education, this is free education.
Yes.
So, I saw an advertisement on Sirius. You are doing that program with the campus, Peradeniya campus.
Yeah, Gammadde is with the campus, University of Peradeniya.
So, actually, for us, what is the final objective of this project? To make a presentation to the government or to the international community?
I think we're making a presentation as we're going along. We
have created a huge awareness among the people, about our fellow countrymen. That's number one. I'm sure the results will come, and that's why we are taking their suggestions, their problems, bringing it to the people, so they have faith in the media. Now, if you watch some of those programs, they said, we thank Sirius for coming, and then we are giving a voice to the people where the politicians have failed. Coming back, I want to ask now in this short time now, Karunaratne Paramamitana, Deputy Media Minister, says right to information bill will be presented on 8th of March. What are your thoughts on that?
So right to information, so they can ask about how many people are without housing in Anuradhapura. There are so many things happening in this.
No, what I'm saying, the media, right to information. You think it'll happen, or it's just another farce?
We don't need this, Bandhu, actually.
Can I just, this is a bit topical here, we've touched a few nerves. Somebody's SMSing me. What is needed is a national policy on land alienation for the homeless, with a government-sponsored scheme to build them low-cost housing. For livelihood, we need to get into commercial agriculture coupled with proper distribution and storage. Don't forget, 65% of our economy is agriculture-based. An MP's job is to create such opportunity in their electorates. Do you agree with that?
Certainly. But this government, of course, now the farmers are complaining that they are not getting the fertilizer. So of course, I agree with him that this country needs to support the farmers, the farmer community. But they are on the streets. If you see the television past couple of days, past 2 weeks, I think, and the print media, so many reports about this matter. Farmers are demanding, they are accusing the government of failing to provide them with fertilizer. It's a huge issue. So, I saw one minister said that there's no issue at all. Then subsequently the next day the president summoned a meeting and all of them met. So if there's no issue, why on earth the president summoned a meeting? So far as there are so many issues. I think this the people in power, they have no time for people. That's the issue.
I noticed from one of the recordings that the government, the team put out, they were living in abject poverty and just in a tent actually. They'd been in this tent for about 3 months. But I noticed that they had a little radio. And you can from that you can understand, I think, that the need to be kept informed, to keep up with the news, no matter what your circumstances are. It was so great that they had that. It was a little radio. And I also noticed in a camp in Puntland that these people, even though they're living in these sort of temporary shelters, in Kajan huts actually, they are also getting on with their life. I noticed in one place there was a little bicycle, and he was clearly an ice cream seller because I saw the boxes of cones and his whole thing there. It didn't mean that he just sat there because he's living in a Kajan hut and he's waiting for a handout. He's actually on his bike, quite literally on his bike, trying to earn a living, which is remarkable resilience. But I think we should keep the pressure up on the politicians, and instead of all these other matters pale into some considerable insignificance when we look at what we have uncovered. It's not pretty.
Certainly not. Certainly not.
I wanted to very quickly ask you, there's this claim about some foreign author's new book, which he's launching in Colombo. In there's claim that there's money that the former president is supposed to have done a deal with the LTT. Astonishingly, it says there that it's one Mangala Samaravira who sort of ordered this whole thing, who was in there. And then there's the other issues that it was Mr. Sambandhan who actually attended a press conference and asked them not to vote. So if there's an investigation, do you think they'll have to investigate Mr. Sambandhan and Mr. Samaravira as well as Mr. Rajapaksa?
Certainly, because Mark Salt, he has alleged in his book that the former president in November 2005 bribed the LTT to engineer Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe's defeat. And the allegation he talks about, he has identified Dr. P.B. Jayasundara, Lalit Veeratunga, Basil Rajapaksa, Mangala Samaravira and Tiranalas as people who had been involved in this project. So if they want to investigate, they will have to ask all these people. And Sambandhan, Mr. Sambandhan, the leader of the TNA, who issued a statement in Kilnochi in the run-up to the elections, ordering people, Tamil speaking people, not to vote. I think he should be able to explain whether Mr. Prabhakaran received money from former Prime Minister Rajapaksa, because Sambandhan was there. So if they are really keen to establish the truth, I feel that they should investigate all. And they can also ask the author, Mr. Salter, to help the investigation.
He should be helping with inquiries. A lovely British term, that. Shavindra Ferdinando, thank you very much for having been on Newsline. We appreciate your presence. Do highlight these problems of abject poverty. Thank you for being on the program. Bandula, thank you for your presence.
Thank you, Shaukat.
And thank you for watching Newsline. I hope you've enjoyed the program. We look forward to having you viewing us every day, Monday to Friday at 7 o'clock. Thank you, take care, and God bless.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.